broadcast. Yo, I'm broadcasting live on YouTube right now because I'm only telling this story one time. All right, the Richard Weizmann story. Since we are live everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, the sexy and the not so sexy big children and little. I cannot sing. I am the novelist, author, poet, Lamont Anthony Wright, aka Graffiti Blue. Welcome to the Just My Thoughts podcast. Before we get started, what's up, Sassy? Hey, a lot of they say share a part of you that nobody knows about. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm a big car buff. Yo, I got the Mustang Mach 1 2023. I've been dying to come to Sacramento and mess with you guys and lose to a race. But that's not what I just want to tell you. I also want to tell you that I am a knife collector, and it's not that I'm trying to look crazy online, okay? But I gotta be honest, so I'm gonna share a few of my knives. Before we tell the Richard Weizmann story, I thought it would be appropriate yes, I got the Mach 1, homie. Yes. I got the white shifter, 6-speed. It's pretty quick. I don't think I'm as fast as you, bro, but it's pretty quick. So I'm gonna show you this knife collection. This is an old rusty. Let's start with this one. This is an old rusty 007. I don't think it's a 007. Look at how rusty that is. Look at that. Look at that. It's like a pirate's knife. No, that's a knife. Let me show YouTube real quick. And look at that case. Just old and rusty. I don't have a name for this knife. Let's call her Becky. That knife looks like it should be named Becky. It even has something for your belt or whatever. But I wanted to tell you the Richard Weizmann story. But before, such a Brooklyn thing to do with the knife. Is that a Brooklyn thing? Like, yeah. I'm not even done though. Let me turn me down a little bit. It might not be loud to you, but in my own headphones, I'm kind of loud. The Richard Weizmann story. But before we talk about Richard, this is the dragon knife. My friend Cindy gave me that knife. Isn't that pretty? Look at the case to that bad boy. Let me show YouTube. Look at that. That's bananas. Look at that. But let's see the actual blade though. Ho, 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 ho. You freaking, that's gonna fillet somebody. Look at that. Look at that dragon handle. Look at the craftsmanship. YouTube, look at the craftsmanship. OMG. Now that's a knife. Now that's a knife. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I thought it would be appropriate to show my knife collection for two reasons. One, they say it's a good idea for bloggers to let people get to know about themselves. I collect knives, and I thought it would be appropriate. I think it's gorgeous too. I think it would be appropriate. I thought it would be appropriate for this podcast, the Just My Thoughts podcast, the Richard Weizmann story. We're going to get to the Richard Weizmann. I got a couple more knives to show you, folks. Let me show YouTube this one. This is my favorite one. I don't know, the dragon one I think is becoming my favorite. I just got that one. But look at this one. Look at the craftsmanship on that. Look at the handle. Ain't that crazy? So even if somebody tried to take this from you, see that, YouTube? Even if somebody tried to take that from you, they're going to have a hard time. That's pretty sharp right there. You see those edges? You see that? You see that, Instagram? It's a good thing I don't got ashy knuckles. Okay. Look, you see that, YouTube? Look at that. Ain't that gnarly? The Richard Weizmann story. We're gonna get to the story in a second. This is a little one you just keep by bedside. You know what I mean? Got the little handle. This one stays on my at the foot of the bed. This is a quick one. Look at that craftsmanship right there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Nice little one. Bad boy catches you. That needs to get sharpened. You see that? See that Instagram? See that YouTube? I need to sharpen that one. That's a good close quarters joint. Here's a fun fact. I wrote in Poet's Pursuit of Pleasure in my first book. I actually wrote about a knife fight between the antagonist and protagonist in the story. Now for the grand finale. Let's see a knife. Let's see a knife. What's up, Sassy? Sassy. You're just in time for the grand finale. You like the spike at the end? Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But let's get the grand finale in this knife thing. This is the Richard Weizmann story. I'm showing my knife collection to the world. I gotta unwrap this one. This is the dangerous one. You see that, YouTube? You see that, YouTube? This one is dangerous, man. We gotta keep this one wrapped up. This is the end of the world knife. This is the knife. You need a gun too. But this is the knife you take into the woods after after the government has failed. Look at that bad boy. Can you see? I gotta step back just so you can see this thing. Look at it. You see that, YouTube? You see that, YouTube? Look at that. Look at that. Look, that's insane. Look at that. Instagram, you see that? You see that? This is the apocalypse, end of the world knife. This can take down anything. You want to take down Thanos? You want to take down a moose? You did. And the reason why I show you this knives collection is because A, your people should know who you are. And I don't think I'm a dark person. I just like knives. I just like you like what you like, right? I don't believe I'm a dark person because I like knives. And we have a lot of Americans that collect a lot worse. Okay. I think it's gorgeous too. But let's talk about the Richard Weissman story. 2023 is almost out of here. Right. 2023 is almost out of here. And typically I get pretty nostalgic at the end of the year when I say, man, I'd look back at the year that was and everything that was done. You know what I mean? Sometimes I hustle so much and I'm running and running and running, trying to build on legacy, trying to create, well, not even trying, creating, building on legacy and things of that nature. Every year, I want to have some type of milestone as far as creation goes. And as for this year, 2023, the milestone creation was the Champagne Ethos Project from myself and my brothers, Moet, right? Okay. 2023 is about done. The rollout is about done, not all the way done, but about done. Did almost everything I wanted to do to let the world know that this album exists. So I figured it would be a good idea to go live and tell people how that album almost wasn't here. For Moet to reach this point and to have any kind of legacy in this game, in the genre of hip hop on the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and everything that was done, I really felt like kind of giving you guys some of the history, giving y'all a history. So I'm gonna say this story once. I'm telling YouTube one time. I'm telling Instagram one time. Little shot in the arm. As it gets colder, I'll probably be blogging and podcasting more, trying to put a shot in the arm to just my thoughts. So Once upon a time, I think the year was maybe 90, maybe 1991. Moet is hitting kind of. We were at this point as a group where we're all in. Everybody is all pretty much all in. Everybody is identified who they're going to be. Whether it's myself, I'm just like emceeing, lyrics is what I want to do, and everybody's pretty much in their bag. If they're DJing, they're DJing. If they're they're writing, they're writing. Everybody's in their lane, dancing. If they're dancing, they're dancing, and whatever. So, and also in the year 1991, there are a notable bunch of acts, not a bunch, but hip hop is making noise. What's going on? My man, Artist is up in here. What's going on, bro? My man. Welcome. The Richard Weissman story. So at some point, I'm really not sure how we met them. I'm pretty sure it was through my brother Vaughn, where Richard Weissman came into our service. Now, Richard Weissman was a real estate lawyer who decided that he wanted to be our manager. Okay. But his background was in real estate law. Now, it's never a bad thing to know too many lawyers or have too many lawyers' phone numbers, is a better way of phrasing it. Because knowing lawyers because they're suing you is not the same as knowing lawyers because you just know them. You just happen to know them, right? So Richard Wiseman wanted to be our lawyer. And he also wanted to be our manager. And that's like, okay. And me and my brother Vaughn used to argue without end, without end, to whether Richard Wiseman should be our manager or not. Now, Richard Wiseman was also the manager for Organized Confusion. Okay. Remember Organized Confusion back in the day? Could anybody tell me the name of the MC that came out of Organized Confusion? I'll wait. The MC out of Organized Confusion was an MC by the name of Pharaoh Monk. So it would seem as if Richard Weissman, this real estate lawyer, had his finger on the pulse of hip hop, or did he? Or did he? He wanted to be our manager, and Vaughn and I would argue without end because I was just like, if Richard Wiseman is our manager, what are his credentials? What has he done in the hip hop game so that he can manage us? Who does he know? What does he do? And as far as I could tell, I should know I was there. Richard Weissman, real estate lawyer, when it came to the brand of Moet, was never getting Moet any shows, was never booking any shows as a manager, was never submitting our demo to record companies, or he wasn't doing any promotional things to that effect in the betterment or advancement of the group. As in, I don't know, photo shoots, as in interviews, as in sending us to record labels, as in shopping a deal for us. But you know what Richard Wiseman did say? You know what Richard Wiseman did do? Richard Wiseman would call once a week and say, "Hey, fellas, what I want to know is the Moet updates." He talked with a little lisp too. He said, "I want to know I want to hear about the Moet updates. I want to hear about the Moet updates." He always said that. Hey, I want to know about the Moet updates. He would call once a week and he would want to know something. And I would be very reluctant to talk. It would be me, him, and Vaughn on a three-way call. And he would be asking us all of this stuff. And he would talk a good game. He would talk a good game. He would talk a good game. Anytime I talked about a song concept that I wanted to do, he would listen. Anytime we talked about a show we wanted to do, he would listen. Anytime we wanted to talk about anything, it's not that he didn't provide some sort something. He had something to bring to the table. He was somewhat creative, and he would listen to our ideas and kind of say that's a good idea or it's not. However, the things that a manager should do, book, promote, and position, were never, in my opinion, done. So I want to ask you guys, do you think Richard Weissman was a manager or culture vulture? I would argue he was a culture vulture, and here's why. You have to put the work in, people. You just can't stand alongside the cats that are doing it. And even if you are not the, and I was talking to Sassy about this today, even if you're not the main person, that the main talent that everybody is surrounding around, right? Or coalescing around the movement. Maybe you're not the catalyst of the movement. Then your job is to bear witness. If your job is not necessarily to create, then your job, if you're going to be on the team, your, I think he's a vulture too. Your job is to bear witness, help, or support, and get the talent in a position to win. So Richard would call once a week. His real estate law degree did not come in handy for what we were doing trying to shop a record deal in the early 90s. What was he going to do? So he would call, he would say, "What are the Moet updates?" And he would freaking listen to what the Moet updates were. So what does that mean? What does that mean? I believe it means he was a vulture. He was waiting around for us to stumble on a deal. And as soon as we got that deal, he would have swooped in and he would have definitely done negotiations. Now, I want to close with this. I don't want to necessarily say that this is a bad thing. I don't want to say this is a all bad. I don't want to say this is 100% bad thing, but it's not a good thing either. What I would say is that it's both good and bad. It's good because, sure, if this businessman who's a real estate lawyer sees the potential in our group to grow and to broker a deal, if he sees that potentiality and he's just like, well, okay, let me stand next to these guys, and should they blow, should they be successful, I'll be right here to get my cut and to help them, whatever. So you see the value in the group. Okay. That's the only good in that, is that you see the potentiality. The not so good part, where I'm trying hard not to curse, is that you are sitting there with those kind of resources and you yourself are not investing in that. If you believe that this is going to blow, then put your bread up. Put your bread up. And we're going to close with a quote by Dame Dash. And Dame Dash says, "If you don't invest any of your own bread into your business, then you are not a boss." Let me say that again. Dame Dash says, if you're not willing to invest any bread inside your own brand, then you are not a boss. You've got no stakes in the game. You got to have stakes. That's what makes a story good, when the characters have stakes. You hear me? You hear me? When the characters have stakes, same thing in life. When there's stakes on the line, when it's your bread that you stand to lose, you work a little bit harder. They say, oh, well, if you're a good businessman, you'll spend somebody else's money to fund your dreams. That's not a lie, but you don't have any of your own skin in the game. And a lot of the guys that get to that level where they can borrow against what they built, they put their own bread up first. You hear me, YouTube? You hear me? You hear me, Instagram? You hear me? So any of those guys and gals that get to that point, they invested their bread first inside of it. And then they was able to borrow against the catalog. Okay? They were able to borrow against the catalog. This is the Richard Weissman story. What's up, Greg? Gracie's up in here. What's good? This is where I be at on Sunday night, huh? Let me take a sip of the tea. I ain't gonna keep you all night. That mic is powerful, Jack. Lord have mercy. You ever listen to yourself sip tea in Dolby stereo? So I guess another moral of this story is know your know not okay, know your worth. Yeah, that's kind of cliche though. What could be a moral? A possible moral could be, well, that's a good one. How about the moral of this story be? Remember that old Nas song? It's called "Watch Them Niggas." Yeah, man, I'm old. I still call it Dolby Digital, bro. It's probably not. It's probably all digital, but it's all good. um, There's an old song by Nas called "Watch Them Niggas." Watch them niggas that be close to you, and make sure they do what they're supposed to do, because you know they be thinking about smoking you. Nothing personal nowadays. That's the ways. Boom, ba-doo, ba-doo, boom, boom, ba-doo. Oh man, oh. And sidebar, I was rooting for the firm rap group. I was rooting for the firm to blow, man. Foxy Brown, Nazir Jones, and AZ. And who was the fourth member? There's a trivia question. Who was the fourth member of the firm? Who was the fourth member of the firm? Put it in the comments somewhere. Anyway, um, watch them niggas that be close to you. I had to keep my eyes on Richard Weizmann because I didn't understand. I really didn't. The young version of myself, that 19, 20, 21-year-old guy, really didn't understand. I kind of knew that he was being a vulture to the culture. I kind of suspected that's what he was doing, but I really didn't know for sure. I really didn't understand because my naiveness, I didn't understand that this was even a possibility. I didn't understand that people could line you up and could set you up from the beginning, that you could have what you in your head think is a trusted circle of people, and almost, but not all, and almost every person in that circle is not in your best interest. I did not know it was possible for you to have an entire circle of people. And it's, let's say it's a faithful few. Let's say you got about a good 6 or 7 in your circumference that you'd be like, man, these are my gals, these are my guys, whatever, right? I did not know that it was possible for like 5 of them, 5 of that 7 could not be in your best interest, or could just be there just because it's just time for them to be there. And then lo and behold, when you expand, they fall off. They go by the wayside. They are no more. Okay. So the moral of this story is watch them. All right. Yeah. Oh, that's my man. My name. We got fashion designers up in here. Wave. Um, I'm trying to get a red sweatsuit for this next video that I want to do in Los Angeles. I'm saying this on purpose because of who's in the room. Okay. um, my intentions are to go to Los Angeles sometime. I have to get surgery. So for those that know the nature of this surgery, um, but it's not everybody's business, I guess. It's really not that. It's not really not that freaking secret, really. And one of my first performance videos I want to do is in this red. I just want to do bars. I just want to do a clinic of lyricism. And you got my guy. He's got this red sweatsuit that his that he makes, that is like the baddest thing I've ever seen ever. So how I'm seeing, yeah, I'm talking to you too, Sassy. What I'm seeing is me in the theater house in Tim's and that red sweatsuit, just lyrics for days. You know what I'm saying? Take it back to the red and meth, how high days, where you just go ape shit inside a freaking bike for like 20 minutes. And that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, the sexy and the not so sexy big children and little. That's all I got to do. That's all I had to say. Thank you. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button for my IG guys. Follow me on YouTube, Graffiti Blue, same shit. For my YouTube family, follow me on IG. And that's all I got to say. Stream the album. I streamed the album too. Yeah, Champagne Ethos. Y'all know what it is.